Question. Did ascended masters ever go through their own fall in consciousness and have to overcome a similar fallen state in an unnatural world? Well, here's where you have to be a little careful about your definitions. Because as the question is asked, the answer is no. Because an ascended master cannot fall. But there are beings who are now ascended masters who before they ascended went into the fallen consciousness and have risen from there on an unnatural planet. Not necessarily Earth, although some have. So what I'm saying is that a being who goes into the fallen consciousness does so by making choices, free will choices. And the law of free will states there is no choice you can make with your free will that you cannot overcome or undo by making a more aware choice. So no matter how deeply you've gone into separation, gone into the fallen consciousness, you can rise from it and become an ascended master. And there are beings who have done this. They have first fallen and then ascended. This has happened both in the, as I explained in my video about how the world was created. We are in the seventh sphere. And the first fall happened in the fourth sphere. Some beings fell in the fifth, some being in the sixth, and we are now in the seventh. So in each of these spheres, there were beings who fell and who then later ascended. And this has also happened to beings in this sphere. But when they fell, they were not ascended masters. Because, as I've explained before, we have these two options with our free will. We can choose to increase our sense of connectedness, our sense of oneness, or we can go into separation and go away from oneness, going deeper and deeper into separation. And the reason why the world is set up the way it is, as I explained in my video about how the world was created, a new sphere is an unascended sphere. And the reason for this is that this gives people these two options. They can choose to seek greater oneness, or they can choose to go into separation. But there are also spheres above ours. We are the seventh, the unascended sphere. There are 6 spheres that have ascended. And in order to ascend, a being has to give up the desire to explore what you can do when you go into separation. So in other words, you can say that an unascended sphere is an environment where beings can explore the full range of free will, where they can choose to go into separation. They have that option. The ascended realm, they don't have that option. It's not there anymore because they have given it up in order to ascend. So you start out as a being in an unascended sphere. You explore whatever you can do. Some beings don't need to go into separation. They need to know what it is and experiment with it, but they don't need to go into it. Or some people go into it and they fall. But in order to ascend, you have to voluntarily give up that possibility. Because now you are dedicating yourself to working on raising the whole. Whereas when you go into separation, you're basically dedicating yourself to raising up yourself as being special compared to others who are less than you. And that can't happen in oneness. In oneness, nobody is special. Everybody is seeking to raise the whole. Everybody is part of the whole, experiencing themselves as part of the whole, and experiencing the incredible fulfillment it is to raise the whole. So you are voluntarily giving up the possibility of going into separation in order to ascend into oneness. You can't be separate and one at the same time. So that's the purpose of an undescended sphere. And so it's not like this is a loss for the ascended masters. On the contrary, on the contrary. It's something they voluntarily give up because they've explored what you can do with separation and they've decided they've had enough of it. And now they want more than separation, and that is oneness. But you have to give up one in order to have the other. It's just the mechanics of how free will works, You can't have your cake and eat it too. You have to actually make a choice. That's what free will is about. You make a choice. You can't do both at the same time.